Aufram Island, which means go Iceland, which means my book is out. Hello everyone, it's lovely to be seen by you again. I've got a novel out. It's called Storytellers, just mentioning it in case you haven't heard about it before. It's available as a hardcover, paperback, and something that I'm really proud of, the large print and dyslexia-friendly edition. There's a lot of this edition, as you can see, which is kind of the point. I came up with this idea because my mom doesn't read regular books anymore. The letters are too small. And I would really like my mom to be able to read the book. And of course, I would like a lot of people to be able to read the book. So now my mom can read it very easily. She just has to learn English first, and then it's all hers. I'm not going to quote all of the reviews. Let me just say that I'm pleased with them very much. So thank you very much if you wrote a review. Reviews are the best way you can help an author. So far, the book has been called an Icelandic saga, which made me die and go to heaven. The relationships in the book were compared to Jane Austen, which was exactly the point, and I died and went to heaven. And the book was compared to the best work of Kazuo Ishiguro, who is a Nobel Prize winner in literature, which puts absolutely no pressure on me when it comes to the second book, which obviously has to be even better. Moving on to questions and requests. I've got 3, and each of them was asked by 3 people. The first one is about the audiobook, and the question is basically, when is it coming? The best answer I can give is, I'm not sure, but soon. I've got all the equipment, I've got the voice training, I'm learning how to switch between accents, which is very difficult because I end up speaking both accents at once, like I think I'm doing right now. I'm going to voice various characters with different voices. I'm hoping to have help from another actor to help differentiate between the story that takes place in 1920 and the story from the past that takes place in 1885. The problem is that I have absolutely no experience with recording audiobooks. I'm a musician, record producer, vocal producer, and I have never recorded an audiobook. So this is the reason why I can only tell you that I hope it will be out before July 1st. On July 1st, the book goes wide, which means that you'll be able to get the ebook from Apple Books, Kobo, and so on. Right now it's Amazon only for 3 months. I hope to have the audiobook and the soundtrack out on July 1st as well. Please keep fingers crossed because I need all the help I can get. Question number 2. Also asked by 3 people, how did I finish the book? As in, how did I manage to actually finish something? All those people are writers who are working on various things but have problems finishing either of them. And I know exactly how it feels, because on my hard drive there's somewhere between 6 and 8 books that never got finished. And I think you can tell how much I care about them by the fact that I don't even know how many there are. They didn't get finished for a reason, and the reason is that they bored me as I was writing them. So why would the reader want to read something that bores the writer? But the question isn't what bores me, the question is how did I get something finished? There are 2 parts to this answer. One of them is that I got those horrible spine injuries, which basically glued me to the sofa for a few years. And for a while I just spent a lot of time thinking why me and being very unhappy. But then I realized that even though I need pillows set at one particular angle and a lot of painkillers to not cry, to be honest, I am able to type. So I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. I don't recommend getting spine injuries. This is not the best way to write a book, and I'm pretty sure you can manage without it. Maybe the second thing can be more recommended, because I also got a midlife crisis related to the spine injuries. When you're young, you think you're immortal, and then, like some people, by which I mean me, you hurt your knee and you discover it will never be perfectly fine again, and you get this first brush with mortality. You realize that your body might actually not serve you forever. But then, in my case, when I got this spine injury, it was absolutely not certain whether I would be able to function again, which by now I can do. most of the things. I cannot forge anymore, so my blacksmithing life is probably over. Hopefully not, who knows. But that was the time when I really had to accept that my body can break in a way that will make it impossible to repair. I've always been one of those people who said, oh yeah, I will write a book one day in the future. And at this point I had to admit that there might be less of the future than I think, that the future might have an expiry date. And if I want to write a book, maybe I should do it now and not one day in the future, because one day in the future might never come. I don't know whether you need to get a midlife crisis to write a novel. This is what works for me. The third question, asked by 3 people, is how to pronounce the names of the characters in my book. That's very easy when you've had my Icelandic course, which follows now. There are 4 rules in Icelandic that you have to memorize. The first one is that the accent always falls on the first syllable of the word. Easy, easy. The second one is that you have the rolling R. So it's not Ragnar, it's Ragnar. And it's not Ivar, but Ivar when you're watching Vikings. So now you can impress everyone you know by rolling your eyes and telling them it's Ivar. The third rule is that Icelandic has letters which don't exist in any other language. Well, possibly they exist in some languages. I've only studied 8 so far. And those are letters that you produced by letting the air out between your jaws in here. I'm going to try and lean towards the microphone. I have no idea whether you'll be able to hear that. Potla. Potla. So I'm overdoing it a bit now, but basically the air goes out here, so it's not T, it's not T, but it's K. T. K. That sounds really weird, I know, but that's Icelandic. And now we get to rule number 4. Everything in Icelandic is an exception. So just memorize those 4 simple rules and you're good to go. I've taken a course which is called Pimsleur. It's an audio course. 30 days, 30 minutes a day. It took me about 4.5 months, 120 minutes a day, because I had to take breaks to cry. And at the end, I was able to go on dates with Icelanders, because what you learn is, how are you? Would you like to drink something? Would you like to eat something? Would you like to go to my place or to your place? Heima hjá mér eða heima hjá þér? And then, you don't understand me! And when I got to that point, I was like, okay, this is definitely past the 3rd date now. So now that you know all the rules of Icelandic, we can move on to the names. We've got Gunnar, then we have 3 brothers called Arnar, Ingvar, and Bjarni. We've got Joanna, who is American and causes problems to Icelanders because there is no letter J in that language. There are letters but no J. Oh yes, and if you want to say hello to a man, you have to say the letter K and L at the same time, because the word is cycle. I'm sure that's very easy for you. Just try once or twice. Anna is kind of easy, accent on the first syllable. Dr. Brynjólf. And then we move to the last name which causes problems, to me. Because the letter G in Icelandic is pronounced differently depending on what's before it, what's after it, where it is in the word, at the beginning, at the end, in the middle, whether there's a vowel anywhere nearby. So I believe the name is Gudrun, but I will have to ask an actual Icelander before doing the audiobook, and once she stops laughing, I'll be able to move on. And the most important name, of course, is Ásgeir. There's an Icelandic singer who pretty much inspired the whole thing, got me to Iceland, and he owes me a lot of money because it's his fault that I traveled there twice. And me and my Australian and American and British and Dutch friends used to call him Ásgeir. That's not the correct way to pronounce his name, it's Ásgeir. This is easy when you're Polish. It's probably easy when you're Icelandic, but if you speak a language that has the letter please let me know, so I can make sure not to learn it. I'm almost done. It's time for the competition that I promised. When you read the entire newsletter, so as you can see, I'm tricking you into actually reading it, I'm asking a question. And the best answer to the question, just click reply and send me your best answer, will be rewarded with some nice, I think, stuff. I have postcards, Storytellers postcards, and there are bookmarks, which on the front have the picture, and on the back I have this. So read the newsletter, answer the very difficult question the best you can, and my favorite answer will be rewarded with a bunch of pretty things. That's it for today. Bless, bless. Tak, which is thank you, and you definitely don't say it this way. And I'll see you next month.